It's the Monday after the Sunday when I posted the first video about the restoration project. And I've got all my gear on. And it's not as pissing down as it was, but it's definitely not dry. But excitingly, I think I found the bike so soon. And I'm going to go look at it. I can say it's a non-runner. And it meets the criteria. I'm quite excited about this actually. There's going to be so much to do. So much to learn as well, which is going to be cool. So I'm going to go view that bike now. I've told the person that who I'm viewing it that I've got COVID, and they said that's okay, so obviously we won't stand near each other. And then hopefully, if everything's fine, I'm then going to collect it on Wednesday in the back of my friend's van. So this is exciting. So, just back from viewing the bike for the first time. And then I went to see Fred at Boxerworks to see what he thought. And yeah, he doesn't think it's the worst idea in the world. He doesn't support the idea necessarily either. But he's going to do a lot of the work, so particularly when it comes to perhaps the engine and the gearbox. And I'll definitely be leaning upon his infinite more knowledge than I've got. But I'm quite excited about this. I will just have a look tonight to see if there's anything else that catches my eye. And on the off chance that there isn't, or the more probable likelihood there isn't, should I say, we will go for a 2003 Suzuki Bandit 600 S. And you can see how much of a mechanic I'm not. At least bike mechanic anyway. So, next time I'll see you, it'll be Wednesday. So quite remarkably, I found a bike. Really unexpectedly. I was chatting to Fred at Boxerworks about what I could and couldn't do, and he says, oh, my old man's got a bike for sale, or could be for sale. Told me what it was. I went, all right, I'll pop down and have a look. So I saw Fred and said, we've got deals to be done. He said, oh, it's up to him, and his dad didn't know. So I said, hey, you got a bike for sale? Let's have a look. Now, I have gone off-piste with my brief here. Well, this is exciting, isn't it? So, benefits of doing this bike. It's a custom job, which I prefer. It's frankly a little bit easier than going for a restoration, because it's a lot of bolt on, bolt off stuff. And I've got Fred on hand to do my engine gearbox work on a bike that a type of bike that he knows. And his dad's got a pickup truck, so he can bring it home for me. Happy, happy days. I've got some cool ideas of what I'm going to do for this bike. Hopefully this bike arrives, and hopefully you'll think it's cool too. But let's say this much. If I get the bike I want, and I can do what I want to it, the next time I speak to you, the project bike will be here. So, I last spoke to you in this video just after I'd gone to see that Bandit, which obviously I didn't buy. But the bike I have bought has been delivered about 20 minutes, half an hour ago. And rather comical little keys. Now, I will say, I've sort of broken my own rules a little bit. 2 rules I've broken. So, most importantly, I kept a budget. I spent £400, 100 quid on a budget. It is not a naked, but it will be. 88 to 2005. I broke that rule. 1984, this one. This is going to be cool. I can't remember all the other criteria, but I met them. Anyway. Oh, obviously, and we have the tool selection mounted on a shadow board, ready to go. Now, what did I get? I'll step aside. So we have, and I'll show you around properly in a minute, a 1984 Flying Brick K100. His old man bought this bike pre-COVID, and it was running apparently back then. And then COVID happened, and it's sat in a container ever since. The video footage I'll show now will show you a little bit of that. But this is now my bike. So I did want to restore something and keep it quite original, and I'm not going to go original with this. I'm going to make this something, hopefully, quite special. My budget's changed somewhat for what I will spend on this. This will now run into the thousands. And if you can see the picture I'm showing now, this is hopefully something similar to what we'll end up with. Now, this will be done in partnership with Fred at Boxer Works. Not that he's paying anything to do with this, or he's not giving me anything for free, that's for certain. But he is going to rebuild my engine. We're going to look to change out the shaft drive. We're going to rebuild the gearbox, new front end. It's new everything. So the first job tomorrow is to give this a damn good clean, see where we are with it, and then start taking it apart. I have got the original panniers and a load of plastics, which I'll show you later. But this bike is in a sorry state. What I have noticed when I was looking for a sort of shitbox bike to buy, that the shittiest shitboxes still go for a lot of money. So to get this for 400 quid, I'm okay with that. But all in all, I'm quite excited about this. It's not the route I thought I'd end up going, but it's the route we're at. If anybody's got any ideas or tips or comments, please chuck them down below. If you want to hit subscribe, that would be amazing. I mean, it's an ugly bike as it stands. I can't say otherwise. And quite nicely, actually, the stand on this bike, the minute you take it off the side stand, the stand pops straight back up. And I was trying to maneuver it in the garage, and the stand went up, and then I dropped it. But then I remembered it didn't matter. So I've had to rejiggle the garage a little bit. My daughter's push bike was up there. It's now by the cupboard, because this is a long old bike. Right, let's give you a tour. So we have done 54,861 miles, but I guess it won't that matter too much. We have a lot of surface rust, but that whole front end is going to be gone. The engine is quite sad looking, but again, that will all be blasted and painted. The rear sets will be replaced. The frame will be powder coated. That looks like a bloody car battery in there, so I'll have to give you something about that. Oh, fuses on the side. Huh. Funny, I suppose that's behind a panel normally. Anyway, exhaust pipe, meh. Wheels will be changed. Whole back end will be changed. Oh. I will say I do love that backlight. That's quite cool. So this has got a side mounted single shock. If we do change the back end, the shaft drive to how we want to change it, I will aim to put a traditional shock up in there, which will be nice. Fred and I have just talked about removing the airbox completely. And that is the bike. I'd like to keep the original tank along with the engine, keep the heart of the bike the same, let's say. Now, as I mentioned, original panniers, which is nice. They've stood the test of time for 40 years. And then in here we have a box of bits for all the missing panels. So, what do we think? What colour would you go? What would you do? Am I being a bloody idiot? Don't answer that one. B597. This is Barry. Say hello, Barry. And there you have it, the project. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take me. Obviously, some of this depends on funds. That I know the engine work's going to be £1,000. The front ends are going to be 800-900 quid. I mean, everything is going to be hundreds. But I think, having looked about, if I get it right, big if maybe, we should be worth about 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 at a push. We got a bit of wriggle room before we start getting into trouble financially. And I think it will do the same job as the Monster. So once this is built, that goes. Probably. Wish me luck. I'm gonna fucking need it.